earlier this week too, we had another fantastic episode. Not by the car lounge, but we had another fantastic episode or YouTube piece, a YouTube content by Java Akuma. And the title of that episode is going to be I spent $3,000 testing tags grading consistency. I fucked that up, but there it is. It's going to be on the video. And honestly, if you ever thought about tag grading, I think you guys absolutely have to look into that video, because there's a lot of things that we should really be looking. We should talk about it. Oh shit. All right. So let me start by saying I apologize, bro. If that's what you want to hear, I apologize for making that comment of saying that your videos are a little slandering of tag. Yes. Like, I'll go ahead and apologize, because yeah, maybe you haven't said it directly, but maybe your tactics and your most viral videos are a little slandering with the title, with your thumbnail, right? Because let's address one of the biggest elephants in the park when it comes to your content creation, like the title. You spent $3,000 in grading with tag. You didn't have to, you chose to. And look, like I said it before in my previous video, I liked your video. It was solid. It was a really good video. I like the fact, and I think a lot of people do too, I'm not the only one, that you are testing tag for their claim of being the most consistent, objective grading company out there. Undisputed, right? Absolutely. The reason why I feel like your tactics, maybe your title or your thumbnail, maybe even your video is a little bit slandering, it's the fact that your test size of the experiment is so small to come to the conclusion about this. And that's my thing, right? I don't think that you're wrong, and I'm not defending tag, right? I'm trying to look at your content and the way that you're trying to deliver it as informative and in a way a little scientifically, right? Because you are testing tags objective grading. And pros about your video that I really do like, right? You use vintage Japanese cards for the most part. And I'll be honest, like, I can't visually watch your stuff. I don't really visually watch other people's stuff. It's like, I'm basically, whenever I'm working, you're my background noise. Videos like this that pop out my algorithm are background noise. So I don't visually get to see everything. So I'm going based off what I'm hearing. And my bad, bro. I'm also a little bit deaf of hearing, you know. You tested vintage Japanese cards, and I think that's a fantastic idea for your test. It really is, because here's the thing, like, you know, you have swirls in your cards, and that's going to be able to find them in a certain location of the image, right? We have swirls on top of the swirls. Like, I'm not going to make the, like, if whether they were Cosmo Hollow, because they look like they were, right? But the hollow patterns, the stars, if you will, the constellations, they can be mapped out, you know, with the images to give it like a landmark for certain cards. So these cards that you sent for grading, for the most part, are a good baseline. It's a good baseline. Okay, but you still gotta test. You don't have to, but in order to come with a claim that tag is super inconsistent, we still gotta test the hyper modern stuff. We will have to test like all sorts of different cards from different eras, with texture, no texture, with hollow, no hollow, with hollow, reverse hollow, Cosmo hollow. We will get a lot of information for the celebrations hollow, with the fireworks hollow. You know, there's so much stuff that us as a community have to test and get the most information to make our claims against tag, that your limited size pool is so small. But yet, you know, you already came with the assumption that tag is inconsistent. But like, the thing is, when I was saying in your video, or like in the comments, whenever I guess we were having that discussion, because I don't believe that we were arguing. let me start by saying that I don't believe that we were arguing, because I see that you're pretty intellectually smart. You have the right level of autism. You know, your parents or whoever probably gave you the right amount of Tylenol to develop that portion in your brain where you would want to be a content creator. And on top of that, being a content creator, that you would want to test an AI company. You know, you got it right. Like, I love that part about you. Like, overall, the way that you're thinking about making content and doing this, it's great. You also made a comment that you're probably not going to do this again. Absolutely, I think you're wrong. The only reason why I'm actually talking to you, the only reason why I've seen your videos is because I've seen your 2 most viral videos. Your first video that got over 250,000 views, and then this one that's over 50,000. So, you know, you're killing it, bro. I don't think you should stop. I think you should build momentum and maybe use some of these ideas to build out more of that content. Test different eras, test different cards, because we really don't know. Not a lot of people are really testing with tag. But overall, like, hey, you do you. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to be the tag grading testing guy, that is up to you. But I think you should. Now I went on a little rant about it, and I lost my train of thought. Something about limited test pool. I didn't like that. It's just not enough information for us to kind of make that assumption that tag is inconsistent. And what was I saying? I guess we'll just jump into some of the things that I would like to see in your video before we go ahead and make the conclusion that tag is just incredibly inconsistent, because that's what your video portrayed at the end, right? Tag grading could be incredibly inconsistent when grading Cosmo Holo cards. We don't know, we don't have the information. We haven't tested reverse holos, hyper modern, SARs. You know, we haven't tested those cards in order to make a general assumption that tag grading is not a good grading company, because they fail or they don't have the information to do that. Because whenever we look at the cards that you did grade with tag, they're low population cards. People with tag are not really grading vintage cards. A lot of people say that vintage is there's no market for vintage when it comes to like AI grading. It's all hyper modern part. I would disagree. I probably do think that you probably can make the most gains grading vintage cards with tag, because either it's going to establish a baseline of what those cards in that era should be graded at, right? It's not dependent on another human grader. Like, because that's one thing I don't like about any subjective grading company. That's not what I don't like about PSA. That's what I don't like about CGC. I don't like about Beckett or Rudy Alpha Investments grading company. They use graders, so therefore their opinions are very subjective. Because last time I checked, these people haven't graduated from grading 101 university, or whatever you want to call it. There is no grading schools. I wouldn't be surprised if PSA does that later down the road, right? But whenever I'm grading cards with a subjective based company, what I don't like is that I don't know who's grading my cards. I don't know if this is the hardest grader that they have. I don't know if this is someone they just hired. Because if you have a 9-to-5, bro, then you know that your coworkers, some of your coworkers shouldn't be there. They got the wrong part of TISM. They got the Tylenol extra strength, and they should not be wherever you're at. It happens. Everyone has those. So, you know, I don't like grading with a company that they might get my cards and, you know, as a bad part of the TISM, and they don't know what they're doing, right? But whenever it comes to like tag grading, we have a baseline that it's a machine using their technologies to go ahead and grade the card. Now, whenever people are grading with tag, it's getting picked up by a machine, whether if it's AI or not, because AI should be evolving. And maybe the way that tag has it right now is not evolving, but you have 2 ways to kind of secure your grade. You have a initial scan or the initial grading by the AI machine, and then you have your subjective grading of the person of the quality control who says that is a good grade, let's move it forward, right? But at the end of your video, I think your position could have been a lot stronger. That don't jump on these companies. Don't jump on these companies that you like based on an idea. If you would have went ahead and message tag grading. I've been grading with tag. I've been actually testing your guys' company and your guys' policy, and you guys are not as accurate or consistent as you guys say you are. Follow it up by, look, I've graded these cards before and they were consistently being flagged as resubmissions, and then afterwards, like they were getting flagged as resubmissions until the last and final time where I went ahead and paid $150 for grading. Now ask them, why did they get regraded? Was it because it's a different pay tier? Is there more leniency? Because that's what I got from your video. Like, honestly, it seems that if you pay more with tag grading, the more lenient they're going to be with your cards. So therefore, if you want to get the best grade for your cards, for your high-end chase cards, grade with Express. Pay that $150 fee, because it seems like it's gonna be an easier way for you to get a higher grade, especially seeing how you already graded those cards. They got a score, so that was a baseline, and they should have gotten the same score in your last and final submission. That's the thing. That's what bothered me the most. All right, that you didn't do that. You didn't give tag the opportunity to go ahead and explain why. And personally, maybe you didn't want to, maybe you didn't have to, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But it would have been more favorable if you did, because then the audience could go to see it. It's like, well, he graded the same cards, he paid more, he got them higher, he gave himself up, he could have stayed quiet, right? But you're running a test, it's for views, right? He told him, like, hey, I'm grading these cards all over again. Why did it come back with a higher grade? And it's like, we could have even heard whether it's like a new AI bot, different location, maybe the person who says yes on the submission, and it's like, maybe that's a bad Timmy, like a super Tylenol power spectrum Timmy, and they're like just collecting a paycheck. Approve. That's $150, right, per card. No one's gonna be resubmitting a vintage, no one's gonna, like, I don't understand, right? But like, there's maybe someone in the background pressing the button to go ahead and accept the final tag grading, and they're like, there's no, like, right? Because maybe I would be that guy right there pressing that button, like enter, like approve, and then all of a sudden one of the submissions had 15 already submitted cards. It's like, for me, like, if I would have seen that, like, every single one of them was already a card that was already submitted. No one's really gonna pay $150, right, to go ahead and regrade a vintage Japanese card with us, right? No one's gonna fucking do that, right? Maybe they would, right? Who knows? But if I was the last person in the quality control, like, I would have to look at it differently. Maybe it's that person, you didn't give tag the opportunity to explain what happened. So with the result, you just ran with the data that you got. So I personally feel like your test was a little inconclusive, and then your conclusion a little immature. Not immature, my bad. You're probably gonna kill me about that. Premature. I think maybe your conclusion was a little premature. That's all, right? And the fact that you came out with a very premature conclusion is just like, you got the information that you wanted, you're gonna come out with it. You don't have to say it literally, but if we're reading between the lines, I paid $130 and I got my cards better from tag. Like, that's not really gonna show tag in a positive light. But not explaining why they did that is also not, like, it doesn't help you either. It doesn't help tag either, right? It's just like, personally, I'm just left here like, what the fuck happened? I'm into the story now. What the fuck happened? So maybe, like, I don't know, like I said before, you made a comment saying that you would not want to run this test either. Personally, I think you're wrong. I think personally, if you want to capitalize on the momentum of your most viral videos, you would be testing tag to the best of your abilities. Test them with different eras, different textures, different languages, different whatever. Send some fake cards saying, you should be testing tag. Maybe not right now, but I think your channel testing tags consistency and its ability to go ahead and pick up will be so much value to the community, right? And definitely it's probably one of those niches in the Pokemon grading sphere that is untapped, and people would want to watch that because, people kind of already have the general feeling that PSA is for scalpers, flippers, people who want to make money of it. Tag seems like the company more for collectors. Yet, let's be honest, the reason I don't think that tag grading eliminated their value tiers, their bulk tiers, was because they had an influx of collectors. Nah, I don't believe it. I believe it was these rip it, slab, mystery bag companies who feel more confident in selling an AI graded card with less controversies than PSA, because it's literally AI, or it's either tag versus PSA, AI versus human grading. There's more upside here. You can make more money on tag and AI grading. Personally, I think it's a bigger market. It's going to be a bigger market. So, my bad, bro. My bad if me using the word slandering in my comment really upsetted you. But look, I did give you your roses in my original video, and you didn't leave a like. I left a like on your video, whether if I didn't agree on it, because it was a good video. But outside from that, bro, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you next time. Maybe, I don't know. Peace.